Greetings, folks. Welcome to another episode of Campfire Stories. Gino here, your tour guide into the strange, the unknown, the terrifying. Tonight, I submit another story to the Grimm Society. The Entity. Have you ever experienced a haunting that became benevolent? In the late 80s, I was working as a forklift driver at a local warehouse. The job required that I work graveyard shift, but I really didn't mind. I was single at the time, and the pay differential was fantastic. But even on top of that, the work schedule was pretty quiet and peaceful over those nights. I'd buzz up and down the aisles, stocking the shelves, doing inventory, general warehouse duties. One particular night was slightly different. As I was doing my usual rounds, it seemed unusually quiet, as if I was the only one there. As I was writing out my inventory report, I saw from the corner of my eye a person standing in the aisle I was working. I assumed it was a coworker. I looked up and waved at her. She was standing there. She waved back at me, and then just rushed off as if she were in a hurry to get back to work. I had never seen her before, but assumed she was new. I returned to working on my inventory form, looked up to see if she was still around, but she was gone. Man, she was fast. I did seem to notice that the light seemed to have dimmed down a few watts, and I almost felt like I was in a dream state. I shook it off, thinking I was just tired from the late shifts. It was almost lunch break, and I figured a cup of coffee would probably give me a boost. As break time came around, I see a few coworkers, wave, get my lunch ready. I finished my lunch early, so I headed out to my car for a quick mini nap before it's time to get back to work. As I head out to the parking lot, there's this little walkway between the warehouse building and a chain link fence. I was walking down that walkway, and a gust of wind suddenly kicked up, and the fence started rattling. When the wind picked up, I began to hear a whispering. It sounded like it was coming from something perched on the fence. The further I walked, the closer it sounded like it was getting. I paused for a moment, and the wind stopped. And then I clearly heard my name. I looked around and saw no one. I decided to turn around and head back to the warehouse. At least there were some people around there. I was kind of spooked. I decided just to clock back in and get back to work. As I was back in my aisle, a coworker said hello and seemed kind of uneasy themselves. We started chatting, and he nervously asked me with a kind of a laugh if I saw Lola tonight too. I asked him, "Who's Lola?" He told me that Lola was an employee who worked there years ago when the warehouse first opened. According to the rumors, she died in a car accident on the way to work. People say they see her from time to time passing through the aisles of the warehouse. I almost wondered if that's who I saw earlier. My coworker went on to describe the woman he saw. It sounded like the woman I saw earlier, but it may have been a coincidence. At the end of my shift, I was really feeling kind of freaked out with everything that happened that night. I headed out to my car, I started it up, but I still felt uneasy. So I got out of my car and just looked around it. I noticed my back passenger tire had a huge nail sticking out of it. I turned off the car and I changed the tire. As I was removing the tire, I said out loud, "Thank you, Lola," because I knew if I would have driven home that night on that tire, I'm sure I would have went the way of Lola and had an accident too. I'm not sure if it was a message or a coincidence, but I've never seen or heard from Lola again. Hey folks, thanks for listening to the end. If you like this story, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to join the Grimm Society, hit that subscribe button. If you have any stories to share, you can submit them to thebrothersgrimm@gmail.com.